This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, sweetie. How are you? This is Time to Care, the Caregivers Podcast, and I'm Isabel Melgarejo, your host. Today, I want to talk about partying versus celebrating and why I really enjoy celebrating. So, let's get started. I grew up in a culture where partying is part of who we are. I remember being in college and we would compete, seeing who could stay longer up and who could drink more and who could go to school on a Friday without sleeping at all and then still being able to perform at school. And this is pretty much the culture of partying. It doesn't have to fall into that extreme, but that's how we refer to parties. And I see that everywhere in the world. When there are holidays, when there are things going on in life, we party. The World Cup, the Super Bowl. These are great examples of how we party. There's an event and then we party hard because we're happy. And one of the things that I have learned throughout the years is that this culture really drains the energy out from us. Right now, I'm reading a book named Pray, Love, Fuck My Life by Gabrielle Stone. And a good chunk of her book is about her partying. Another reason why we party is because we want to forget how we feel, and partying makes us feel good. So we go and put ourselves out there and just party. And instead of that, I want to invite you to celebrate. And I want to invite you to celebrate because the holidays are around the corner. One of the things that has really caught my attention over the past probably 5-10 years is that people during this time of year fall into really bad depression, and they feel really sad and they feel really stressed and they feel overwhelmed and they have all these negative feelings. And instead of having a season to celebrate and a season to enjoy and a season to love, which is like how we portray this holiday season, we portray it as a time in which we are with family, we are with them, we stay with them, we connect with them, we spend time with friends, we meet with everybody. Companies do their end of the year party. So we have all of these events going on in probably the lapse of a month. There are all these reasons to celebrate and to connect, and still there are millions of people out there feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed. They feel overwhelmed because they have to provide gifts for everybody and probably money is tied. They feel stressed because they have to take care of someone and they are already burnt out, and they feel overwhelmed because of all the things that we think we have to do. And no, I don't want that for you. And I don't want that for you because I think it is the perfect season for you to enjoy life as it is. And I don't want you to be feeling overwhelmed for what you have to do. Let's talk about celebration and what it means to me. I came with this concept of celebrating versus partying through my coach, Susan Hyatt, and she is the biggest fan of celebrating. I was with her in Savannah, Georgia during the summer, and when we finished the retreat, the celebration was about connecting and about being with one another. There was no alcohol at all. It was just connecting with people. And yes, there were sparkles and there was fun, and then there was connection and there was love. And that is the spirit of celebration. I think that's the spirit of celebration for several religions. We celebrate, and it's about connecting with one another and connecting with our beliefs and connecting with the people. We have managed to make them about what we have to do. It's about the dinner that we have to prepare, about the cookies that we have to bake, about the presents that we have to buy and then that we have to wrap so we can give to each other. That is not celebration. Celebration is not about giving gifts. Celebration is not about having a 12-course meal. Celebration is not about having the perfect setup. Celebration is about celebrating the successes that we had over the year, celebrating the things that we learn through our mistakes and our failures, celebrating being with others and being able to connect with others, celebrating that we are alive and that we have the opportunity to change our lives, celebrating that we are together again and that we can be together and that we can share our lives with one another. It's about connecting with people and sharing with these people what we have achieved during the course of one full year. And maybe those achievements come from you being able to stand up from your bed and wake up and just manage to get out of bed. And yes, that should be celebrated because not for everybody the journey is the same. And for some of us, being able to get out of bed is reason enough to celebrate. This also takes me to BJ Fogg. He's an expert on creating habits, and he's been experiment with himself and with hundreds of people. He's got a book, Tiny Habits. If you haven't read it, it's a great read. Anyways, he also talks about celebrating, and he talks about the importance of celebrating when we manage to do something difficult, when we manage to do something right, or when we manage to do a tiny habit. And I have come with this concept of celebrating the small things for so long, and still I can't manage to celebrate myself for doing the small things. And guess what? Whenever I do celebrate doing something that I didn't want to do, but I had to, when I celebrate changing a habit and making a better habit for myself, when I manage to come with some kind of recognition for the effort that I did, instead of punishing myself for everything that I didn't do, then I get encouraged and I get motivated to do more. The great thing of all this is that I didn't need anybody else at all to do that for me. I didn't need anybody else to celebrate my little successes. So today, I want to encourage you to celebrate yourself for everything that you have done. I want to encourage you to celebrate the little things and the big things. I want to encourage you to celebrate life. I want to encourage you for being courageous and doing things that maybe everybody's expecting you to do. But hey, we're not all the same. Some of us are better at keeping orders, some are better at cooking, some are better at decorating dishes. We don't have to be perfect in every single thing that we do because our talents are different. Some have the talent to create amazing music. I'm not one of them. I would never be able to create music. Or maybe I would, but that's not one of my talents. I don't have the talent to be painting and create a beautiful art. I have other talents. During this season of celebrating, I believe that it's important that we set an intention for this season. I think it's important that we figure out this intention for the season and how we want to celebrate, not how we want to party. The party is getting to Christmas dinner and drinking and eating and having fun. Partying is getting into New Year's Eve and drinking until you lose control. And maybe other partying, Hanukkah is not about partying. It's not about having dinner and just eating. That is the party. And either if you drink a lot or you don't at all, that's the party. The parties are those dinners that we go to. The parties are those places that we go to and spend time with people. That's the party time. Today, I'm inviting you to celebrate what you did right. If you're going to a dinner party on the work that you have, instead of enjoying the meal, well, you should enjoy the meal, but instead of going there as an obligation because you have to do, why don't you go and why don't you celebrate what you accomplished as a team during this last year? Why don't you celebrate the effort that each one of you put into working and making whatever you're doing and making it a reality? Maybe it was not the best year. It hasn't been the best year for many businesses. But what if you were able to celebrate that you're still there and that you still have the strength to keep fighting and to keep improving the work that you're doing? If you're celebrating Hanukkah or Christmas, instead of just going and having to fulfill all these obligations and trying to fulfill everything that is supposed for us to be doing during this time, why not instead celebrate that we're together, be happy to be with the people that we are? And if we don't want to be with these people, why not create new traditions in which we can actually celebrate and celebrate the people that we love? And if you're celebrating New Year's, why not, instead of getting drunk, why not celebrating all of the accomplishments that we had over the last year? That is the real meaning of celebration. So let's celebrate. I encourage you to do so. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a great pleasure sharing this time with you. I am wishing you the best of holidays, and I wish that you keep celebrating the rest of the season. See you next week.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.